Hello, my fellow truth seekers, patriots, and New World Order exposers. Today I want to expound on my film and really prove without any shadow of a doubt what I said in it, because some of the zeitgeist defenders are still loyal to this new age that's being promulgated. Besides the fact that we traced it all to H.P. Blavatsky, Bailey, Theosophy, the UN, New Age religion, and Freemasonry, there's still those who embrace the New Age and this false hope of a utopia that's being waved in the face of the sheeple if they will only abandon Christianity and embrace the New Age religion and the New World Order, which was spoke of by Lucius Trust recently and in many other occult works. Before we begin, let me just say that all of the zeitgeist movement is kicked out of the anti-New World Order movement because you've been deceived by the New World Order and we don't want the whole movement infected. So if you must, go spread your New Age theosophical esoteric doctrine somewhere else, but don't make it sound like you're against the New World Order, because that is what they're pushing too. Now, Dr. James H. Billington of Oxford, in his book Fire in the Minds of Men, page 3, said this, quote, "This book seeks to trace the origins of the faith, perhaps the faith of our time. Modern revolutionaries are believers, no less committed and intense than were the Christians or the Muslims of an earlier era. What is new is this belief that a perfect secular order will emerge from a forcible overthrow of traditional authority." Unquote. The late Bill Cooper, who was perhaps the leading expert on the New World Order but was murdered, says this, quote, "Nothing perfect will ever emerge from the minds of imperfect men, and no men will ever be ruled by other imperfect men in any kind of a utopian order." Unquote. I tell you, if Cooper was still alive, Peter Joseph and Zeitgeist and all of these other fake, controlled New World Order researchers would have been exposed already, but we must pick up the torch where it was dropped. As far back as 1927, Freemason W.L. Wilmshurst saw the dawning of the Aquarian Age as the fulfillment of the Great Plan. In The Meaning of Masonry, page 4, he writes, quote, "In this new Aquarian age, when many individuals and groups are working in various ways for the eventual restoration of the mysteries, an increasing number of aspirants are beginning to recognize that Freemasonry may well be the vehicle for this achievement." Unquote. Now, what should raise the eyebrow of the anti-New World Order movement is the fact that supposed truth seekers promote this great plan of the Aquarian Age led by the Freemasons and the elite. Ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very dangerous stuff. Now, the top New Age advocate who is associated with the United Nations, Benjamin Creme, writes, quote, "The new religion will manifest, for instance, through organizations like Masonry. In Freemasonry is embedded the core of the secret heart of the occult mysteries, wrapped up on number, metaphor, and symbol." Steve Bonta said this in New Age Roots, quote, "Beginning in 1959, Creme was contacted by one of the Ascended Masters who told him he had a mission to perform for the advancement of the Master's plan for humanity. Creme was instructed to prepare the way for the coming of the Lord Maitreya, a master who would assume human form and begin preparing humanity for the advent of the Age of Aquarius." Sounds a lot like Jordan Maxwell's experience when he swore he would do their will. So again, all of you New Age Zeitgeist defenders are kicked out of the anti-New World Order movement. You've been deceived by the New World Order, and you work for them. We don't want you in the movement anymore. Now, the reason why these changes are necessary was explained by Manly P. Hall, who was the leading authority on esotericism and who was Masonry's greatest philosopher. Also, a good friend of Jordan Maxwell's, one of Zeitgeist's main sources. Now, Hall stated, quote, "The time has not yet arrived when the average man is strong enough or wise enough to rule himself." And on page 351 of that same book, he states, quote, "100 years ago it was predicted that within a few centuries men would revert to the gods of Plato and Aristotle, and tired of a distant spirit, rejoice in the proximity of kindlier gods and demons. We may all look forward with eager anticipation to the nobler day when the gods of philosophy once more shall rule this world." Remember the top New Age spiritist, David Spangler? These are his words from his work Reflections on the Christ. He states, quote, "Lucifer prepares man in all ways for experience of Christhood, and Christ prepares man for the experience of God. But the light that reveals to us the presence of the Christ Again, I must stress this, he's not talking about Jesus, he's talking about this new false prophet from Revelation. Again, but the light that reveals to us the presence of the Christ, the light that reveals to us the path to the Christ, comes from Lucifer. He is the light giver. He is aptly named the morning star because it is his light that heralds for man the dawn of the greater consciousness. He is present when that dawn is realized. He stands no longer as the tester or tempter, but as the great initiator. He was referencing Blavatsky's work. The one who hands the soul over to the Christ, from the Christ on into even greater realms. With respect to Christianity, he states, quote, "We can take all the scriptures and all the teachings and all the tablets and all the laws and all the marshmallows and have a jolly good bonfire and marshmallow roast, because that is all they are worth," unquote. In other words, they're going to destroy it and it's worthless to them. The New World Order, who promote this New Age, most of whom are members of Freemasonry, see Christianity as an enemy, a force to be countered. They have declared war on Christians, and as in every war, the enemy must be defeated, even in bloodshed if necessary, as Bill Cooper remarked. Now, remember Alice Bailey, the founder of Lucis Trust, who is supported by the United Nations and Freemasonry? She said she was in touch with an ascended master named Djwal Khul, and it told her this, quote, "Death is not a disaster to be feared. The work of the destroyer is not really cruel or undesirable. Therefore, there is much destruction permitted by the custodians of the plan, and much evil turned into good." In other words, she's advocating genocide. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Christianity has no role in this New Age world system. We are therefore their enemy whether we like it or not. Many of you already know what this plan is, and the Zeitgeist followers embrace it. For those of you who don't know what the plan is, Benjamin Creme, a top New Ager, stated, quote, "What is the plan? It includes the installation of a new world government and a new world religion under Maitreya," unquote. Remember Jordan Maxwell called this God's plan? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Maxwell and all the other fate-controlled New World Order researchers are pushing this great plan and posing as anti-New World Order researchers. Those of you who embrace this are kicked out of the anti-New World Order movement from here on out. We will not have you infiltrating it any further. Barbara Marx Hubbard, another New Age advocate, president of the Foundation for Conscious Evolution, stated, quote, "When the word of this hope has reached the nations, the end of this phase of evolution shall come. All will know their choice. All will be required to choose. All who choose not to evolve will die off. The kindergarten class of Earth will be over. Humankind's collective power is too great to be inherited by self-centered, infantile people," unquote. So we will be given a choice to accept the New World Order, or we will choose to die. Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, started this mode of thought. In his initiation into the order, the initiate was told, quote, "Behold our secret. If in order to destroy Christianity, all religion, we have pretended to have the sole true religion, remember that the end justifies the means, and the wise ought to take all the means to do good, which the wicked take to do evil. This can be done in no other way but by secret associations, which will by degrees and in silence possess themselves of the government of the states, and make use of these means for this purpose which the wicked use for attaining base ends. The express aim of this order was to abolish Christianity and to overthrow all civil governments," unquote. So anyone who has doubts about my film, this should clear it up pretty good. If not, then you have been too badly hypnotized by Zeitgeist, Maxwell, and the rest of the occult operatives. Anyone who defends Zeitgeist or the New Age agenda is automatically kicked out of the Truth Seeker movement, and they should be ignored as deceivers.
In 1982, an English painter named Benjamin Creme took out full-page ads in newspapers around the world declaring the Christ is now here. For more than 20 years now, Creme has traveled the world, telling all nations that the Christ, whom he calls Maitreya, is about to appear.
Maitreya is standing by, ready to come into the world at any moment.
We caught up with Mr. Creme in August of 2006, as he had just come from speaking to an independent group at the United Nations. He had this to say to America.
It's the duty of the American people to respond to Maitreya and to accept their destiny.
With all the bloodshed and conflict happening in the Middle East, we asked Creme what he thought it might take to bring peace to the region
I've always said it will take Maitreya to solve it.
Krem says the solution is the universal Christ, which he claims is awaited by all religions.
Maitreya is the name of Maitreya Buddha. All the religions are awaiting him.